Good afternoon. Let's get right into today's information. So, listen, I know that many of you all think that it's a good idea that if you go to a dealership and you apply to get a car loan and you get approved, that you should just go ahead and go right with it. But I'm going to show you all that there are some times where you need to walk away, and you're going to most definitely want to take notes on this. All right, let's get right into today's information. So, first things first, of course, for those who don't know, my name is Calvin Russell. I am a certified FICO professional as well as a licensed real estate agent as well. I help people increase their credit scores, lower their car payments or lease payments, and qualify for homeownership anywhere nationwide. And if you want me to help you, like I helped all the rest of these people, scan this QR code or click the link in the description below to learn more. All right. So, first things first, that you have to understand if you get approved for a car loan and it might be best to walk away. Number one is that the approval itself does not necessarily mean that the car is affordable. Now, everyone's financial situation is going to be different. You're talking about debt to income, a lot of various things that you should consider. But a lender may approve a payment that puts serious pressure on your monthly budget. So, for example, if you know that you're struggling paying $500 a month, it doesn't make sense to go to 550. It doesn't make sense to go to 600. Instead of getting a new car, you need to be trying to lower your car payment on the car that you already have. Or if you don't have a car and you still cannot afford that payment, you may need to do some budgeting. You may need to start to say to yourself, okay, can I afford this? But outside of that, you need to make sure that you're not overpaying for the car. And we'll talk about that with some interest rates here shortly. So you need to think about this is that you still need room for things like insurance, maintenance on the vehicle, how much is going to cost you for gas, and of course, unexpected repairs, especially if you get a vehicle that has over 100,000 miles, over 80,000 miles. Now, if the payment only works when everything goes perfect, you have to also look at things where it's like, okay, I may not need to buy this car because my income is this, or my income fluctuates, especially if you are, commission based or something like that. But it's not just about the monthly payment. It could also be the fact that you have credit card balances. So essentially, you're going when your credit profile is not the best. So we talked about this in various videos, what I like to call credit windows. Okay. And I'm the only person on the internet that will tell you about credit windows. Okay. And a credit window is essentially when you're trying to go get approved for something, whether it's a house or a car, and your profile could be better, or you have already done something in which is going to be better, but it's that it hasn't fully updated yet. Okay. And credit card balances are usually the number one issue. So, and that means that you have high utilization, which means high usage on your credit cards that can lower your credit score and make your overall debt look risky. But not just your overall debt. It's going to lower your score, and of course, that's going to now get you, a higher interest rate. So what I mean by this is, if you have a credit card balance, let's say that the limit is 1,000, but the balance is, let's say, $800. That's 80% utilization. That most definitely is going to affect your credit score. You should not go get or go get an approval for an auto loan while your credit card debt is that high, or worse, you've paid that balance off. It hasn't updated yet. It hasn't refreshed yet on the credit report, but you're at the dealership. Okay. And so you're like, well, I just paid this balance yesterday. I just paid this balance last week. I just paid this balance 2 weeks ago. Yeah, but did you confirm that the balance is now updated on your credit report so you can maximize where your credit score is if you need a car? Or can you wait another couple of weeks or however long it takes, for it to update? Again, you need to be in the right credit window. So now another thing to think about is that with this, adding a car loan is going to make it harder to pay those balances down. Okay. So you want to get those balances down beforehand. Now, if you're already used to paying, your a car note 450, 500, and the next car note is 450, 500, then of course this particular part may not necessarily affect you, but you still need to be prepared to say, okay, all right, let me pay down my balances before I go to the dealership. So again, reduce your credit card debt before taking on another major payment. If not, you're most definitely, even if you can handle it, you're most definitely going to pay a higher interest rate than you should. Okay. But listen, let me know your thoughts inside the comments. If you have done this in the past, or if you're thinking about going to go buy a car, again, let me know because you most definitely want to make sure you pay those things down. All right. The next thing you need to look at is if you're preparing to buy a home. Now, this does not mean, because this is a very popular question, this does not mean that you cannot buy a car and that you cannot buy a house at the same time. You most definitely can. However, it's timing. So let me break it down for you. Let's say, for example, you get a car this month. We're now in August. Ain't that crazy how 2026 is like moving fast? But anyway, we're already in August and you're going to buy a car in August. But then you say, I'm going to start the home buying process in September. Then that would be fine. But what you don't want to do, and you can still do it, but I just need to set your expectations that if you say, I'm going to go ahead and start the home buying process in August, but I'm going to also get a car next week while I'm still looking for a house. When you do that, there's a very good chance you're going to change your numbers. And what I mean by that is, let me give you an example. Let's say you already have a car note and it's $400 a month. You started the home buying process, and 2 weeks into the home buying process, you go get a car for whatever reason. You got into a car accident, the car is totaled, you're fine, the car is not. So you got to replace it. The car died out on you, whatever the reason is, you go get another car. Now, that new car note is $600 a month. So it's not necessarily the numbers per se. It's more so the fact that it is a different monthly payment. So what I mean by that is when you got initial pre-approval, your pre-approval was based on your auto loan being $400 a month. But now that you have now that you have the new car payment of $600 a month, the lender does not know that. The underwriting department does not know that. So you need to bring them up to speed because I've seen people get a car in between the home buying process, and then that new payment either gets them denied or at minimum adjusts their buying power, which is their pre-approval amount. Now, this may not be everyone's scenario because I'll give you an example. If let's say the bank gave you a pre-approval for 500,000, you were going to use, and you said to yourself, well, I was just going to use 300,000 anyway. So then in that case, you might be okay. But again, you need to confirm. This does not mean that you're going to get automatically denied, but you need to let them know your numbers change. And we'll talk about mortgages throughout this month because we got a couple things on our list to go over, but that's something that you need to know. And again, that credit inquiry can add a new account that can affect your mortgage qualification because the bank is going to want to know. For example, if you got the pre-approval through your bank, you now 2 or 3 weeks have gone by, you're looking for a house, but then you go get a car, you only went to your bank, you went to Chase. Now you have to explain why you went to Chase. They need to know that you're not getting two mortgages. They need what they call an LOE. That's a letter of explanation in most cases. Okay. So just something to prepare you for. But again, speak to your mortgage lender before financing a car during the home buying process. Otherwise, you guys are going to get really upset if you get denied. All right. Next means is that the interest rate is too high. Now, you need to know what a high interest rate is. Everyone has their own definition of what they think a high interest rate is. And I can see why, because if you're used to paying 25% interest and you get 18 and you get approved for 18%, then that's better than 25%. But anything that's typically double digits for an auto loan is typically too high, in my opinion. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't refinance later or do something later, but that's something that you most definitely need to prepare for along the way. All right. And so, again, an approval with a high interest rate can cause you to pay thousands more for a vehicle. Now, also, a large portion of your payment may go towards interest instead of the actual vehicle. So, you want to make sure, again, that we're going through that credit window, at least the best that we can. For example, if your credit score is, let's say, in low fives, but you got some credit cards that you can pay down, like I mentioned earlier, and you pay those credit cards down, and you say, "Well, Calvin, I only went from a 500 to a 580." Yeah, but at least that's the best that you can be. You want to show up the best that you can be. And let me pause real quick, guys. Just because you're financing does not mean that you can never pay cash. So we get in the comments, people say, "Well, Calvin, you always trying to talk people into getting an auto loan or a mortgage loan." No, you can pay cash. So typically people listen to that because they don't have the cash to pay. Now you can sit back and save up the money if you want to, but I'm telling you, you can just get the loan at a better interest rate. So what's the best that your profile can look like? Okay. Next is improving your credit first, like I've mentioned, can help you qualify for better terms later. So if you got to get the car now, just know that you still need to work on your credit score. A lot of times people get the approval and they say, well, I got the approval, and then they just keep paying the same monthly payment. Some of you all watching this right now are doing that. Okay. Don't do that. Where you get approved for the auto loan, and then you just keep paying the same monthly payment, but your credit score has increased. That doesn't mean that you have to go out and go get another car, but you can go at least try to refinance that. You need better structure. You need a better structured loan. Okay. Just make sure that you know that for sure. All right. Now, another reason why you should not consider it is if the dealership is only discussing the monthly payment. You need to understand that the monthly payment does matter. That's your monthly budget. But you also need to know what is creating that monthly payment. What's my interest rate? What else did we add to this loan? What's my taxes? What am I paying for plates? Okay. Sometimes people are paying for new license plates and they don't even know that they're paying for new license plates. Now that money doesn't go to the dealership, but again, at least you know what you're paying for. And here's why: because a lower monthly payment, this is another thing, a low monthly payment, a high monthly payment, doesn't matter. It can hide a lot of things, but a lower monthly payment can hide the price point. They've added numbers to it, expensive add-ons that you don't want, don't need, don't like. Come on now. So, or a longer loan term. You may say to yourself, well, I only want to pay 5 years, but then you got a 7 year term and you don't understand the paperwork. You just know you got approved. You need to review everything so you can understand it. I'm not saying that the dealership will lie to you. I'm just saying that you may not be okay with something and you may need to change those terms. And if they won't change those terms, or if you don't qualify, that's really what it comes down to a lot of times, is that you don't qualify for better terms. And if you don't qualify for better terms, you need to find out why. You can always come back. Just understand that you are in control. Never accept the deal until you understand every number and where it's coming from. Okay. But this is not just for auto loans. This is for understanding mortgages. This is for understanding personal loans. Okay. But as it pertains to auto loans, so before you take on a car loan that could set your credit and your financial goals back, okay, you should consider the 850 Club so we can walk you through this process. We can help you build a personalized game plan and determine the smartest move before you sign any paperwork. And let me show you what happens as an 850 Club member. One of our members, she increased her credit score over 100 points. So if you can increase your credit score before you go to the dealership, that's going to put you in a much better position. But not just that. What if you were able to get a higher limit on your credit card? So we don't just help you increase your credit score, but we then show you how to maximize that credit score. Like this member who says, listen, I got a $2,000 credit limit increase. And he says right here, he says, ever since I've been following my game plan for just a month already. Okay. So just 1 month after him following his game plan, he was able to maximize his credit score by getting a credit limit increase. Then one of our members, who you guys have seen before, she increased her credit score over 386 points. You already know that. But she was able to get a brand new credit card, a $20,000 limit. She's ready for any emergency, any type of situation that can happen. But then we also have another member who followed his game plan, and now he has a pre-approval, that he's excited about. He says, listen, I just got a call back, and he's got a pre-approved for $130,000 for a home. And of course, same member, different story again. This is just goals that she had that she wanted to knock out. But either way, she was able to get a 2024 GMC Yukon Denali. Okay. And it says right here, with very low miles. All right. So again, she was waiting for to get that approval, and we walked her through that process. Now, how are these people able to accomplish their goals? How are they able to increase their credit score? This is how they're able to do it. As a matter of fact, let me move up here. I just realized I'm covering too much of the screen here. So, uh, first off, you have where you get access to unlimited disputes that we send on your behalf. So negative items that are unverifiable, that of course may be inaccurate. We send out those unlimited disputes for you. You also get a monthly game plan that's based on your credit goals and of course your credit score. So if you say, Calvin, I want to buy a home in 6 months, I want to lower my car payment right now, that we give you a monthly strategy every single month. And we have strategy calls every week so we can answer your questions along the way. So a lot of our clients or members, they may start in lower credit scores, and then they start getting these credit card offers in the mail. They say, "What should I do with this?" Or "My car just died. What should I do first?" Or "I just got this pre-approval for a house. Should I move forward?" And again, we're answering those questions. And guess what? You're not just waiting on me to answer questions. You also have direct community support from other people who are either going through the same things as you, or many of them who are already past the beginning levels and now they're knocking out their goals left and right, guys. So listen, if you are serious about your credit score, if you're serious about your credit goals, if you're tired of your landlord constantly going up on the rent, if you're tired of your neighborhood and it's getting worse, listen, if you're tired of your car and you barely got through with your car this past winter, okay, there are some solutions that's out there. Now don't get me wrong, I'm going to keep making free videos, okay, but I need you to know, that's my reminder. I'm going to keep making videos, okay, but again, you do not have to go through this process by yourself. We can hold your hand the entire way, and if that's you, if you're serious, text the word credit today right now to 708-346-5613. Thank you, guys.